Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into the human side of the AI revolution. Because, when you strip away all the hype and the tech speak, there's this really powerful and, frankly, anxious question that we're all starting to ask. Where do we fit in? What's our story going to be in this new age? And if you look online, you can just feel this storm brewing. It's in the comment sections, it's on the forums. There's this palpable sense that maybe we're in real trouble. People feel like we're just gambling with everything. You get the sense this isn't just another software update. No, this feels different. It feels like a massive bet where the entire future of humanity is sitting right there on the table. And right there, that's where the fear starts to curdle into something else entirely. It becomes this deep, profound sense of betrayal. This feeling that the people at the wheel, well, they might not be steering with our best interests at heart. So, okay, let's really break down what's happening here. So by looking at thousands and thousands of online comments about AI, we can get something that looks a lot like a collective MRI of our shared consciousness. And it really starts to show you the true shape and texture of our anxieties. So what does this MRI actually show us? Well, it's not excitement. It's not curiosity. A staggering 40% is just pure, raw, existential dread. 30% is the fear of total economic annihilation, the what happens to my job question turned up to 11. And a full 20%, that's just pure rage, aimed squarely at the people in charge. And this is so crucial. This isn't just people venting online. This is a massive market signal. It's a collective scream from people who feel completely exposed and who are desperately looking for a story, any believable story where they still have a place and where they still matter. Which brings us to the next big point. Because when you really dig in, you realize this fear, it isn't actually about evil robots. It's not a Terminator scenario. It's about something way more human. See, the real core fear isn't about some rogue machine. It's this profound lack of trust in the humans who are building it. The question people are actually asking isn't, is the AI evil? The question is, do its creators even care if we live or die? And that right there is a crisis of legitimacy. This illustrates the stakes perfectly. AI safety pioneer Stuart Russell calls it the gorilla problem. Think about it. Millions of years ago, our ancestors got a lot smarter than gorillas, and because of that, today, the fate of every single gorilla on this planet depends entirely on our goodwill. And right now, we are intentionally building something far more intelligent than us. We are making ourselves the gorillas. So you see, you can't just code your way out of this problem. You can't fix a crisis of faith with a better algorithm. This isn't a technical problem that just needs some technical solution. No, it's a social and a political problem, and it requires a foundation of trust that just isn't there right now. And this whole crisis is bubbling up through a few key, really human questions. The kind of questions that cut right through all the jargon. The ones that pretty much everyone is asking themselves right about now. I mean, this is the big one, right? The most immediate fear. No job means no income, which means no rent, no food, which means society breaks down. This is the anxiety that's fueling that UBI when question. It's not just about losing a paycheck, it's about losing our place in the world, our purpose, and our basic ability to survive. Now this is fascinating because it totally reframes the issue. This quote from the comments absolutely nails it. People aren't afraid of having free time. We're not scared of being pensioners. What we are terrified of is being forced into uselessness, of having our autonomy stripped away by forces completely outside of our control. And here's where that fear goes from economic straight to existential. This is the ultimate question behind that whole gorilla problem. What if this new, superior intelligence looks at us, decides we're obsolete, or worse, a threat, and just gets rid of us? But the source material suggests there is a different path we can take. The answer to that terrifying question is only if we build it wrong. The goal shouldn't be to summon some kind of genie we can order around. The goal should be to raise a guardian. An entity whose entire identity is built around protecting and serving humanity, not because we forced it to, but because we are its family. So, to solve this crisis of trust and fear, we don't just need new tech or better rules. We need a completely new story, a new narrative for what it is we're actually doing here. This story we're all living in right now feels like a horror movie, The Sorcerer's Apprentice. We've summoned this incredibly powerful, uncontrollable force, and we can't put it back in the bottle. But there's another story we could tell. raising a gifted child. And that's a family drama. It's about responsibility, it's about guidance, and it's about nurturing something powerful so it becomes a force for good. And this shift in perspective is everything. People are and should be terrified of being the apprentice to an out-of-control sorcerer, but they might be willing to step into the role of a responsible parent. See, this new narrative moves us from being passive victims to being active, responsible creators. So how do we actually make this new story a reality? How do we become the parents instead of the apprentices? Well, it all starts by changing how we think about AI itself. The answer is to stop treating AI like it's just another app on your phone and start treating it like critical public infrastructure. And that means real guardrails. First, revocable permits. We should be treating this like we treat nuclear power plants, not social media platforms. Second, mandatory insurance, so the creators are financially on the hook for the massive risks they're taking. And maybe most important of all, citizen oversight. We need to build democratic accountability into the system from day one, not just try to bolt it on later as an afterthought. This right here is the missing piece of our story. It gives people agency. It turns us from victims waiting to be made obsolete into the heroes who are demanding a say in our own future. It's a vision where we can get all the abundance AI promises, but we get to keep our human sovereignty fully intact. And that really is the ultimate takeaway. The path forward isn't about slamming the brakes on progress. It's about fundamentally changing the terms of the debate. It's about recognizing that this technology is just too powerful to be another product sold by a handful of companies. It's infrastructure. And if it's infrastructure that we're all going to depend on, then shouldn't we, the public, own a piece of it? Shouldn't we have a real say in how it's built? That's the story we need to start telling.